Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So it is currently about 7:30 in the morning. It's a Sunday, and I'm up early. So this is hopefully the behind the scenes for the samurai showcase behind the scenes. The animation thing where we're going to try and make it look really nice. So this is a small project I'm going to try, and we're going to see how it goes because I've never done one before. But Cinti recently released a new asset pack for samurais, and I really love samurais. And it's this new pack here, and I've gained access to it with a very lovely sponsorship from Cinti. So I want to make it so we like a short animation where we're walking through the streets, everything's bustling, we see people walking past, sat on benches, and we're going to record all the animations ourselves to make it work. And we're going to do some cool things like have a samurai strike down. Like this shot's the inspiration when you have people on the side working along, you have people pulling carts and stuff. That's what I'm going to aim for. And just like random cut sequences, watching people work on stuff, and then, the samurai comes in, chops down his foes, put some nice music, some atmospheric thing. I think it'll be really cool to do. So I was just doing some work on my patrol points just before because I took my partner to work. I forgot my obligatory Costa morning coffee because it is tired, but I've got hot chocolate. And yeah, so I'm going to input the asset pack and we'll tune back in when I figured out what we're going to do. So I've imported the scene and looked around it, and it honestly does look fantastic, as the Cinti stuff normally does. But I have figured out roughly what I want to do. So I've gone and copied all of the scene and everything and transported it to a new map. Mainly because I want it to just be a clean Unreal map with no lighting or anything. And I'm going to import Ultra Dynamic Sky so we can properly tune in on the weather and everything, because I think that'll add to it. So I've added it here. I haven't got the landscape to work just yet because it's been funky, but I'll reboot my computer and try that shortly. But if I come in and grab my Ultra Dynamic Sky now, and I'll just drop it, say, here, we should be able to have full control over the weather and the lighting, which will make for some really nice scenes. There we go. So what have we got so far? So we've got cloudy. That's fine. Let's change the weather to something like... We'll do clear skies. So there we go. Look, yeah, now I've got really nice ultra dynamic sky lighting, so I'm happier with it. I know what to do with this one. But it gives us the ability to do other things as well. So like we can come into the sky. Where would I do the samurai fight? Maybe, like if I did the samurai fight here at the bridge and we just show the camera with the two samurais. Maybe that side, yeah. Just like show the samurai stood there, swords out, ready to attack, or the bandits, whatever, and we can just tune the time so it's like night time. Yeah. And you can see all the stars up in the sky, lighting everywhere. We could probably come to the weather and also block out the lighting, so if we do foggy, maybe not foggy direct cloudy, but you get my point. We can do things with it and make it look really cinematic, which I think will be really cool to see. And you can see the lighting of the temples above, which look really nice. Maybe make these lanterns light up or something. But it gives us the ability to do loads of things just by adding Ultra Dynamic Sky. Like, we could just do rain and have it raining while they're fighting, and then see the thunder in the background. Or even snow if we wanted, Come on. Where are we? There we go. So even some light snow, modify the meshes to allow the build up, stuff like that. Set that back to clear skies, and we'll give ourselves a really nice daytime. We could probably even find where the sun is and do a sunrise thing as well, like that, and see all the sun rays hit us. So I'm not going for an epic, 2-hour movie. I'm thinking just a 2-3 minute thing, because this is gonna, because I've only got a couple of days to work on this before my next client gig starts. So I'm thinking of like looking around, and like this was one I was thinking. We walk up here, or we see the camera walk up, and there's a guy stood next to the cart hammering this mochi, or we can see some people in here. People will be walking around looking at things, and we can do all of this stuff pretty easily. Does that door open? Yeah, we could sync that with somebody. Oh no, not that one. That one. We could sync that. Oh, they should be together. Sync that opening like that or something, probably like that, so people can look like it's a bustling town, you know what I mean? And as our samurai walks past, have somebody walk past him and go, wow, samurai. As he continues walking. Maybe he's on an assassin mission for the Emperor or something. Comes up here, and then there's just even more people bustling around here. Just making it look alive, you know what I mean? Maybe even have the bandits jump out at this point, and our samurai stood there, not phased by it. They've got their little terrible kitchen knives and stuff, and then whoosh, 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 that's it. And they're all just lay on the floor, and our samurai continues walking to his mission. But yeah, this is the thing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spend a little bit of time going through the scene, just roughly planning what I'm wanting, and then I'll note down what animations I need to do on the mocap. And then we'll go downstairs, because that's where mine's set up. We'll set it all up, record a bunch of animations, and see how it goes. So I'm going to crack on figuring out where the scene's going to be. I think that's it. I think that's the story. The samurai is arrived to this village by boat or something. I don't know. Start down here and just mask it away so you can't see it. Something like that. And he's travelling up because he's got a target. Bandits will hijack him here or something, and he eventually comes to somewhere to finish his mission, his quest from the Emperor. So I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll get back to you shortly. So I think I have the plan. It's about nearly 9 o'clock now, so I've been planning for about an hour, and I think I've got all the scenes together that I'm wanting with it, and changing the weather and ultradynamic sky, so the moon is over here when really it should be over here. So you weather fanatics, you may pick up on that. But all for the cinematography, am I right? I've never done anything like this before, so we'll see. So I have my Obsidian document here, and Obsidian is just basically a fancier way of pasting images and text in so I can see reference points. For some reason, I've called all the chapters Samurai. I don't know why. But we've got Samurai 1 to 12. So we've got 12 shots or scenes, which I don't think's too bad, but we will see. So this is my plan here to break down each scene. And it ends in a big fight scene. Well, not a big one, but I'll see what I can do alone. Because I am just one guy with one mocap suit. So we'll see. But I've got like the Samurai opens up, he's looking over the town. The images look a bit crap because the landscape's not there, but I'll fix that when I reboot. Comes back, you see the first village of people bustling around doing stuff. Cameras panning through it so you can see people as the camera moves past. You get to the next part where people are praying on the shrine, which should be fairly easy to do. Next one, as we come up to the stairs, because I want the cameras to look at the stairs. It fades to black, it moves on like a slow build-up. And you can see the one we talked about with the mochi and the working, and it comes down. I'll have the samurai stood in the middle, menacingly looking around, like searching which way his target's gone, because I want this guy to be full of the energy of, you look at him and you're like, yeah, someone's going to die, because this guy's good. Then he gets to the bandit part where I said the bandit's going to run, and we'll just have a guy in the middle, just dead, knife in the back, blood splatter, something like that. Just, a really horrible way that shows that these bandits are just awful people. This samurai is an emperor's warrior, but he is also just. That's the thing. So they'll jump out with the kitchen knives, and I've roughly wrote what will happen with that scene, because it's somewhat basic. This is just showing that this samurai is not to be messed with. People may look at him and think he's just a guy in armor with a sword, but these 3 bandits jump out of the kitchen knives, come running towards him, and in just 3 quick slices, whoosh, 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 and his sword's away, and he's already walking away, and the guys have gone on top floor as he's walking, because he's just that good, that trained. Then he gets to the bridge, and he'll see the guy stood across holding his big club. And when I say club, I'm talking like one of these clubs. The ones with all the metal spikes on that. If it hits you, you go flying. But it's used for breaking armor, and the samurai's in armor. And it'll be there, there'll be a discussion. Throughout all of this, the weather is going to change, because I want it to look like as he's walking through the city, it's villages, it's absolutely massive. So in each shot, the time will start off very early morning and it'll progressively go down until it's almost night time, where he finds his guard. So you can see there he's found his target, the moon's up there, and we'll just have a few seconds of the air as they're both stood there. And then I've choreographed a very basic fight scene that I think if I can pull the camera angles off and the animations and the sounds, it might be quite good. I'll leave it there if you want to read it, but I've basically thought that in those situations, if I was to swing a weapon, how would the other guy react? And of course, we've got to give our guy the epic spin around and head chops off at last moment. The guy falls to the floor, and then he cleans his blade and then just turns around and walks away. He was there for one thing at all. His mission has been complete. He's going home back to the Emperor for his next task, and he'll walk back down this bridge. That's the plan. So I'm going to go and take this into... Well, I'm just going to export it, and I'll export this scene as well. I'm going to go downstairs, and we'll go from there. So I have no idea how well this will work, but I have my computer there, and as some of you know, I've only just moved in. So I am needing to take my computer all the way downstairs. The house has still been decorated, and I've got to move all of that, which is going to be fun. But I'm going to move all that around the room, so we will check back in shortly. Well, damn, that's a lot of it cleaned up. I've got to move the sofa now, and well, it's not easy on your own, as you can imagine, but I need this space clear so I can set my computer up over there, TV, and my lovely doggy look having a good stretch. Yes, I feel the same. I'm tired too. But yes, we can clear it all up and then hopefully do some mocap. So, that's this one moved from over there. Now I've got to move that one. No idea, maybe that way. Let's try some dodgy camera effects. So as I swipe across, because why make it easy, we'll move the sofa. Woo, it's gone. Hopefully sofas have been successfully moved. So I'm definitely gonna sweep the floor and make it a bit more hospitable. People, don't complain. We are still moving in. This will all be cleaner soon. But yeah, so clean the floor, put my computer up there, put whatever that flower thing my partner has bought somewhere else, put my computer up there, set it all up. Then we can start doing the mocap in the centre of the room, stick Unreal on the TV, plan the scene, record it, and then put it all back again. The things you do for epic animations. Oh, and there we go. We've got our two doggies. Everything's set up ready. Computer's down, all swept. It makes for a nicer environment when it's all swept up. My lovely collection of games right next to the TV where it should be. But yes, so we have here, that's all set up. The mocap suit will be plugged in soon. I've got my little wireless controller to connect up. I am, however, going to need to find some source of internet. Yeah, I had a comment about this the other day. Why is my user account called Steve when I introduce myself as Dan half the time? I set my brother's computer up using a Windows key. And the installer asked me for the name when I was installing it. So I put Steve because that's his name and I set it up. I then used the same one to flash my computer and, well, called me Steve, so I've rolled with it, why not? But yeah, so I'll log in, get everything set up, set my mocap up, and then we should be ready to start filming. Oh, there we go. Decryption. Hey, maybe you should subscribe. There we go. Mocap is almost set up. There's my Perception Neuron mocap suit. That's the one I have. The cardboard on the floor, or the wood, should I say, sellotaped, is the send point, so I know where always to go back to. I now need to strap every single connector on. Right, I am all mocapped in. You can see up there, blur out my feet. People pay good money for that, but I am officially mocapped in. Just need to calibrate it, and then we can begin the session. Here we go. I am mocapped in. You can see. Oh no. Woo! And you can see me holding my hand and stuff as well. I can even chuck you and catch you. As long as I move, you know, it's all there in real time, so I can go whee and jump across there, which, you know, it's awful for filming on a camera while you're trying to hold it. But there we go. So I have lost the remote. No, it's in my pocket. So if I zoom out a tiny bit, there we go. So if I go turn it on, I have my documents here from all the images I posted, and I've got my Decryption Studios Samurai short there. I can now go down that once I install Obsidian, and I can start basically doing the scene. Mocap, I've got Perception Neuron, as I said earlier. It's pretty simple. The only caveat is it does sometimes lose focus. So as you can see, I'm stood in the center, but it's kind of gone out. All you have to do is come and click this box. All you have to do is click that box. Click, and you'll see if I walk over here and then I walk back, I can hit that box and I will go just that little bit, smidge, bang in the middle. And what that means is in Unreal, I'm at route 000 location. Meaning if I walk this way, it will walk to the right on Unreal, but I'm facing forward on that, so it goes left. But right on Unreal. If I start the animation from here and then route it, it means that I am at 0 here, that I have got a much further distance across there I can walk. So now I can walk all the way across over here at a greater distance, like what, 2-3 grid points. Whereas if I was in the middle here, let's realign myself, and if I walk across this time, I can only walk 1 grid point. So you can really change your route depending what you want. So if I stand the furthest I can over here and center align it, then if I walk over here, you can see I've got a much greater distance that I can walk because I'm fully going the edge of the room. So you kind of have to plan it. I typically do the center of the room thing. Let me zoom out. Center of the room thing and the mocap. And I typically stand on here. Yep, and then I center align it. I do all my animations in the center. And if I need a longer animation, I'll decide what to do with that. So most of my animations will be here. So I had a toy sword somewhere. Where's that gone? One moment. Whilst not the most samurai accurate, I do indeed have a small sword. So I can be like whoosh on the screen. Let's see if I can zoom in on the screen a bit. You can, but it's a bit of a pain to do with that keyboard and mouse. Hold on. There we go. And how do I move it up? There we go. There you go. See? Woo! There's a way. If I click that one, I think it is. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. You can't really see with that. If I click that icon, it means now the camera will follow me wherever I go. It'll still be real time, but the camera on the screen is at least following me. There we go. There's my sword for reference. As you can see, not the longest thing in the world.
That's that's pretty average. I don't know what that's normal size.
But at least on here now, if I can you zoom in a little bit, I can be like whoosh, hey-ah, whoosh, 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 and then, you know, put it away. Pretty much. But the good thing about this object is I can drop it and you won't know on the animation. So like if I put my sword away and then let go, you won't notice that I've just dropped it. So it still acts like that. Normally, I have like a friend or an assistant, my partner or something, stood at the side with directions. So like if I go, right, give me the sword, they'll give it me, and I can take it out and carry on. It's how I did all my janitorial animations. You can really just, it captures so much, that's the thing. And you can just do anything. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Ooh, but yeah. I love messing around with it. It's so much fun. Right, work time. It's currently 10 past 10, so 10 o'clock. It took about 45 minutes to clean the room up, ready to do it. 15 minutes to set the mocap up. Yeah, right, let's crack on. So one last thing I thought I'd show you is like with this animation here, Samurai 1, the samurai looking into town. If I roughly know what I'm going to do, I'll go back to the mocap. I need to come into here, and it's always going to be easier if I name them. So, apologies. Doing this single-handedly is very difficult. I name the animation down there. So if I call it Sam 1... I am not doing very well here. I'm trying to type at the same time. Shift underscore Sam 1... Well, I'll just call it Sam 1, really. Like, if I had more time or an assistant, we'd call it proper things like looking around scene 1, looking around scene 2, kind of thing like that. But all I do, if I zoom out a bit, if I tap that big record button there, as you can see, I'm stood in the centre, but it's drifted off a little bit. If I put myself back in the middle, like that, stand like a samurai would. Legs are a bit off, but that's fine. That can be put down acceptable. But if I pretend, you know, recording, get ready, record, I can look around as a oh, you need to look forward, but I can look around like that, and then I can stop the animation, and that has recorded it down there. Look, if I go to editing, double click this animation there, this is really hard to do one-handed, process the data, which basically lines the feet up a tiny bit better, I believe. But as you can see, if I click play now, the animation has indeed recorded. Little bits like that feet there, that's something we need to clean up in post. With a tool like Cascader, it's pretty easy to do, but we'll see how far we get. Unless I lifted my foot up, I don't remember doing it. But yeah, there you go, we've got an animation. Obviously, I want to do that one better without the samurai holding a camera, so I'll just come and delete that. There we go. But yes, it's decent. You can get some good results. Are you sure you want to delete this file? Yes, let me delete it. Yeah, I'm trying to control this with one hand look and then press the key. It's not easy. There we go. Right, now time to do some real animation. I'm recording the screen there with OBS. Well, I'm recording OBS now, but I'm recording on the screen, so I'll do a time lapse of me doing all the weird animations. Yes. Oh, let's go. Here's something you might actually find interesting. So, on Obsidian, I'm working on this scene here, as you've probably saw on the video. I've got a guy walking across, a guy leaning against here smoking. This little cart thing, which I think you can see. So that little cart thing there, but on a different level. I want somebody working just in front of it, really. But I want to make sure I get... Well, I can't get the perfect level without going into Unreal and measuring it. But what I've done is I'll put a table in front of me, like so. And the plan is, I'm going to put a little box on top of it, just to raise it up a little bit, if I find one. And I'm going to pretend to do stuff on it, like on a car. And the animation should pick up on it. So, if I just put you down. So I've got a dusty box, I don't even know what's in it. Ah, it's PS2 controllers, Kinect and stuff like that. Okay, good. Yeah, so on here now, I can walk up. And I can actually touch the box, look. You can see, as I stroke the box, look, it's physically stopping me. Meaning I can trace the outline of the box, and I can even, you know, take the lid off, pretend to go rummaging through it and stuff. And it's all there, meaning I can figure out what on earth that cart does, and then pretend to do it with the real life props, even though they're not there. So I normally have a martial arts training dummy for my mocap assistant, because then you can throw real people about and it's a lot easier. It's somewhere in the garage after moving home, so I don't know where it is. So, meet Greg 2.0, not the doggy, the towel. There's his head, there's his body. It's not great, but luckily my little puppy is keeping him safe and sat on him. Thank you, doggo. Back to mocap. Good Lord, am I tired after doing that. I've never done so physically intensive mocap. That was new. But we've got a good 32 shots, which are not too bad at all for a planned choreography thing. Yeah, I hit my head a few times. Luckily, while we assemble wardrobes, we've got some clothes over there, so I just leant across there when I had to be thrown back or something. But I think we've got quite a few good recordings. Sadly, like I say, they're not named. Normally I'd try to name them something really useful. But like, I don't even know which ones to look at. Like, if we look at that one. Well, we go, oh, so this is the guy smoking. It's just casually sat. That's me putting the remote on top. Oh wait, no, this is the bad guy getting up. This is the big scene. He picks the club, he balances on his shoulder, he monologues all Negan style, and then he points his club and he gets ready for battle. What else we got? Have we got the epic head chop one? That's probably this one. So this is the samurai has just been booted over. Oh, I've lost my center point. Never mind. The samurai's just been booted over, and I believe he's going to stab his sword, dodge an attack, and then headshot. So let's see. So I've been booted down, I'm down, swing my sword, dodge the thing, and head off. Double check he's dead, clean the sword off, put my katana away, and then walk off into the sunset. Contract fulfilled. This is going to be so cool if this works. Whew, I've never done such a big scene. Not one big scene. I've done loads of little animations. What's this one? I think this was the guy. Oh, that's the butcher knife guy. This is the issue with not naming it. You kind of got to remember what you've done. It'll make sense in the grand scheme of it. What are you doing? Let's see. Have I just seen this one? Oh, that's the guy monologuing, I think. I want to get to the kitchen fight ones where I flail on the floor when the samurai takes me out. Oh yeah, so I walk out, tell him to get ready, run forwards, stab, died, and then he pins me against the wall. Yeah, that's not bad. And then I walk away because I magically come alive, and I realised I hit my head a little. So this one must be the guy walking down the stairs. Yeah, so he starts differently, but that's okay. So I walk round, I've got my backwards knife there. The camera zooms out a bit. There we go. So I walk towards, try to do it, get slabbed, and then he cuts me, and then I die. Honestly, stuntmen, you have got years on me for this, but for a hard floor, it's not too shabby at all. So I am going to do one last look through of all of the animations, just to make sure I've got everything, because obviously coming back to mocap and setting it all up is a bit of a pain. And to be fair, it took about 40 minutes, 48 minutes I think we're on. Not too bad. I think I've got plenty to go in, but we shall see. I might do a surprise little ninja or something, perch myself up. But the mocap, I will say, has held itself up lovely. Yeah, it normally does, to be fair, but it's done really, really well. And I enjoy looking back at my animations. Was this the guy who runs out and jumps? I think it was. Yeah, so he jumps down the stairs and he's like, hey, you, let's get him, boys. You ready? You ready? Yeah, let's go. Wait, what? Didn't he die? I thought he died. Oh, yeah, there he dies. I'll cut to him doing that, and then he falls on the floor. Yeah. Oh, it's fun. It is fun, and it's all in the name of fun. It'll be a nice show-through for the scene, I think. Yeah, I might do a ninja perched right at the end, as they do, right at the end. Where would it be? It'd be as the samurai walks away, maybe the ninja lands up here and is sat watching him or something like that. I don't know, we'll see. But yes, that is the scene. So I guess I'll see you back upstairs on the computer in Unreal. Ah, you're finally awake. Pillow. There we go. So I have reset the room up. I can now sit on a sofa. And I can't control my remote. There we go. So I get off my PS1 jungle drum and bass. Right. Oh, I need to sit down for a minute. I've literally just finished it and picked my phone straight up. So it took me a good 15 minutes, but high intense work, rest later. Right. So I'm dead on the floor there. Why am I dead? Oh yeah, that's that one. So I did end up recording one more ninja animation. Just right at the end, just for a little teaser, you know. Because if this does well, of course, and people enjoy it, I mean, I've enjoyed doing it, I'll happily do another one. But you can see, start the animation, and I pretend I'm a ninja, jump into scene, take out my small little blade, whatever ninjas have, and I watch him and I mark him for death, and then I jump off. And with a little bit of Unreal tweaking, I can move... Can I show you? Let's have a look. I can take him there, and when he jumps to about there, zoom out a bit, I can basically take his Z-axis and move it down. So it looks like he jumps through the floor for me, but in the game it'll be jumping off of the shrine thing that he'll be jumping down because he's going to go get the samurai. But yes, so what's next? So I need to basically now go through all 33 of these. No, back up to the top, please. All, come on. Oh, this remote's so difficult to use. Right, get up to there, right. So I need to go through all of these, double click. I need to data process it to just make the feet line up a bit nicer. Then I can export it there. I always export as FBX with everything in, click export. And then I've set up a Python script, let me find. So I've set up this Python script here. Apologies for recording the screen on my phone. Called trim data and animation fix v2. Basically I can run this when I put all my animations in this folder, and it'll add it all to this massive spreadsheet, because why not? But what it basically does is get the start frame and the end frame like that. So what I can do is I can look at each animation, write down the start frame, write down the end frame, and the Python script will open Blender and run a bunch of tweaks to it, like moving the Z-axis down, because this one is always like 5 units up in Unreal. So it moves it down, it trims the start and end, and it exports it as a new animation. It's big time save having to do it all yourself. But yeah, so I'm going to crack on and do that, run my Python script, and then we can import them into Unreal and go from there. So we are back in Unreal and we pretty much have the scene set up. I've got the dark mode on here and it just looks fantastic. So we're back in Unreal and we have the nighttime mode in, which just looks amazing, and with all the fog below as well. So we'll be able to easily make this work through morning, evening, night and day, making it look like the samurai's been walking up this hill, slaying foes for the longest time. Which I think will look really cool for the effect. So let's input the animations and get them set up, because that's always the funky one. So I'm just going to come and create a folder called animations. And I'll right click, import to current folder. I'll come and find all my animations and just import them all. Hopefully Unreal imports them correctly, because it can be a bit silly sometimes. So I'll come and find the typical Manny. Yeah, the mannequin should work, either one. I'll use the Unreal 5 one, give us the best chance. Import, and let's see if it imports everything correctly. Because sometimes it messes up and will only import the first keyframe for some dodgy reason. It was a big issue in 5.5. I don't know how badly 5.6 does it, but you can see it is successful importing them all. So if we just take a look at one, you'll notice an obvious issue straight away, and that's that they look like some weird, creepy aliens, that they're stretched so much. And that's actually normal. I've seen it on every single one we've got. It's super simple to fix. You just come back to the skeleton, click this little menu and click show retargeting options, and then on your pelvis, right click and do recursively set to skeleton and save it. I believe that's all you do. And if you reopen the animation this time, you'll notice it will actually work properly. It's not stretching them anymore. Yeah, there we go. Have I got one of the attack ones? Or the death ones, either way. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. And he walks off. There we go. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So we should easily be able to retarget that to Cinti's animations now. So I'll actually come and create a subfolder in here called Cinti Retarget. Because we can't just instantly make it support the Cinti one. It was recorded for the mannequin, so you have to let Unreal convert it over. So if I come and find one of the characters, do they all have the same skeleton? So we've got all skeletal meshes here. But I don't see a single skeleton. Alright, let's open one up. Where's the skeleton for it? Yeah. Oh, that is just using the UE4 mannequin. Okay. That's new. Interesting, I didn't know that. So in theory then, Cinti's just using standard mannequins now. Potentially, which is going to be a huge time saver. If I drag this samurai out, can I just straight... Because he's using the same... So I'm not 100% sure why it's not letting me just drag a character in and simply use the animations when it's on the same skeletal mesh. It's weird. The only thing I can think is I must have retargeted to a different one. But that's okay. It's super simple. We just basically select all of these, right-click, retarget animations, and then we simply come and select one of the Cinti samurais. Well, I don't know, anyone. They all should be using the same skeleton. Search for my specific animations. And I could even double-click and test it, and you can see... Yeah, all looks really nice. Select everything, export animations, and we can come and place it in a new Cinti retarget folder. Overwrite everything, tick, 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 and then we should be good to go. So I can select him, and we can say, have we got the look around one? Because that's roughly what would happen here. Stand look one, yeah, that'll do. Yeah, so if I click play now, it seriously has a think about it. There we go. And we can see him successfully animating correctly. And of course we're going to have to give him attachments and everything because he's a samurai, not a guy without a hat on. But yes, there we go. So the animations are in and we've got what we need. There are some voices I need to do soon for all the different people. I never did a Mochi one. I forgot about that one. But yeah, like the smoker guy can be leaned up against here. The person working in the cart can be there or something. There's a bunch of different ones. But there's different voices I want to do, and I'll get some background atmospheric music, stuff like that. But what I'm thinking of doing is each scene in here is just going to be a separate sequencer at the top. I'll do a few, and then I'll record myself doing it, so you don't have to watch me figuring it out. But I'm thinking we'll start off with a sequencer here, do the introduction, you know, the samurai or whatever. And then it'll fade in here. Well, actually, no, the first shot is of the samurai, isn't it? See him walking into here. And then overlooking him and seeing a bunch of people, him walking down here with the camera panning. And then it'd cut to black. And then we'd play the second sequence, which would be here. I think I've done one for here, haven't I? Yeah, stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking. So I'll crack on and do the first sequence. And it's pretty much going to be as soon as you click play, it plays all of the sequences. So I'll crack on with that. I'll do one, maybe two, figure out how I want to do it. And then I'll get back and I'll show you what I've got. So it's about nearly 5 o'clock. I've been working for a few hours on it. And it is actually harder than I thought. It's fine because I am having fun doing it and it's becoming enjoyable. But the research I'm having to do to make the animations sync up and stuff, it's just a bit funky, really. Of course, if you haven't seen the full video, then spoiler alert. But if I play this in full screen, how do I play it? There we go, Alt P. So if I click here, Alt P, this is what I've got so far. And then here we're going to see the other pedestrians as he starts to walk up. And yeah, we can come and take control now. But we'd like to see one of the old people walk across here with the odd back. And then we'd have the smoker probably either here or over here. I'm still getting used to camera angles because I think this looks really far away when it's not actually that far away. But we get the guy walking up. And I'm probably going to cut it around this point. You know where it clearly indicates where he's going? We'll probably cut it to the second sequence where he's up here. But I need loads of sounds in it as well. It really does go to show what there is. Because I want his footsteps, so it sounds more realistic. I want the wind when you're seeing the gushing kind of thing. That's one thing I can't solve. And it might just be with the characters. But they all look like really small people. Even when my characters next to them, they look weird. And I don't know why. I think it's something to do with my camera angles. You know, like when somebody takes a picture of a miniature and and claim it's like a big model, but it's actually a miniature and it tricks you kind of thing. I think it's that. And whatever that is. But pretty much what I've done so far is I've got my sequencer on my other screen here. Is if I zoom out, I've got two cameras, one which handles, I just click that one, the camera that handles looking at the play, that's camera 1, and then camera 2 is the cut one which shows him stood there and he's going to be looking at all of them. The kubiki sound is one I got online, that's that typical Japanesey Asian with the guy who says, yeah. And then I use some events to spawn the samurai on the screen and stuff like that. But around this point where it's starting to fade out, I go and then with the wind just to really sell it. And then maybe another of them drums when he starts walking to basically say mission go kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking. And then of course we'll have all the people here, the sounds of them and stuff like that. But pretty much the hardest part was on the samurai, and that was doing all the animations. Because I'm using root motion animations, because that's a good thing about Mocap is you get root motion natively. It's really good. And what I mean by that, if you don't know what root motion is, because it's fantastic, is if I get the samurai walking here, you see that black thing on the floor? That's the root motion of the character moving. And what that basically means is the actual character, the capsule of the character, will move following the animation. I don't have to manually transform him to tell him to go over to there. And the benefit of that is, if I come back to my main map here, is I have this... how can I do it? If I put it like there... I have this stand and walk in animation here, where he walks in, like that. But then normally, it'd flick back to his beginning point there, and I'd have to move his character and tell him to do it. But with root motion, I can right-click on the next animation and say, match the bone from the previous clip. So the pelvis, wherever the pelvis is, start your animation from here. So it starts it there, and he starts looking around exactly where he needs to. And then I've done it again. So the samurai walk in, which makes him walk even further than he was. And with some blending, it's actually pretty seamless. It looks intentional. That's what I mean. And then this idle thing, I had to play with it a little. Because if I play it here, you'll see it looks semi-okay. it looks like he's breathing a bit, like once or twice, like that. The problem I've got is I haven't got an idle. I should have recorded an idle. So all I've got is this idle stand. But look, if I do it there, it's glitching out. It's not seamless. And if it's back there like that, it's just glitching out constantly. So what I'm doing is I play this once like that. I fade into an idle stance here, where it's just a freeze frame. And then I fade back into another idle stance. Which, well, idle stand, I've called it. And what that gives me the illusion of is he stands, he breathes, he stands. Which looks a bit janky there, but from this perspective, you can't really see it because he's not the focus. And I'm going to extend it out so you can see more of this. So that's what I've done so far, and it's definitely getting there. You've all seen the the final render of it, so we'll see what that goes like. The thing I'm trying to do is not be a perfectionist with it. As much as I want it to be good, and I do, I'm not going to spend years working on this very short film. This will be a couple of days, and then that's it. I'm done. Because then next time I can take all the skills I've learned and put it in. And I'm going to keep evolving it, just like I do with games. And yeah, I thought this one would make it look really big, but it kind of doesn't. But we're going to crack on and see what happens. But next I'm going to work on adding all these other animations in, like I said, getting them going. And I definitely need to change the time of day to daytime and add the sounds. And then I think this one will almost be complete to the point where I will move on to the next one. So yeah, so I'll crack on with that. So it's been like 10-20 minutes, and I've made the old guy walk across, so giving him a typical beard and a big heavy backpack, and he basically just wanders on forever, which is really cool about root motion. I do love root motion, because if I play his animation, he stops there, that's it. And he'd repeat like that again, over and over and again. But what I've done is I've laid it on top of each other and just applied root motion, root motion, root motion, and telling it to continuously follow. So now he will happily walk all the way across the battlefield, mostly working okay. But I figured what I'll do is I'm just setting up this geisha here because I want her to come and fiddle with this lantern here. So I'm tempted to make it so when the old guy is looking a little bit, the camera will pan to here, almost like a first-person view. Zoom into the old guy, start walking and bobbing a bit more, zoom into the geisha girl as she's doing it. Almost like as we're moving, things are happening. And I think that'll look really cool. Like she walks away and blocks us. We look across and see something. Maybe I move that cart over there. And then we look across, see the smoker, and then it fades out here. That's what I'm thinking. And in my head, it sounded very good. But we're going to go and do the geisha girl now. So, I've added her. Well, I thought I added her here. Apparently I haven't. So I'll come and click add, actor from track, and search for. So I'll drag that into there. Like, now we've got the geisha girl look. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what I set her animation to. Is it light? Oh, lantern. There we go. Lantern guard. I thought it was a guard going to do it, but it makes more sense. Well, actually, it just feels nicer to make the geisha girl do it. So she stands there and then she cycles around. So in theory, if I get her final position, I keep touching things I don't want to. So all I'm doing is scrubbing the timeline here. Let me attach it down here because I'm using my second monitor because it makes it a lot easier. And so if I get her final position where she's working, and because I haven't got any transform on there that I don't need, I've just deleted it off, I can now select her, basically move her mid-animation wherever I want. And it will be a bit glitchy, but we can place her where we need her to be. I think she needs to be a bit closer than that. Like something like that. And then, so obviously, I'll need to find a way for her to not be seen like that. We'll see. I don't know what to do with that one just yet, because she's going to T-pose just randomly stood there. But then she walks across and she deals with the lantern. Look, let's click off and look at it properly. There we go. So she'll walk in, she'll lift the lantern, which of course we're not going to see what she's doing, but she will do it. And what I can do as well, which is something really cool, is when she lights it, there, we can spawn a light in, or at least use a light. So if well, we've got a light over it. Yeah, we've got a light there. We'll borrow that one. Make a clone of it and put it... Oh no, that's the entire thing. I don't want that. Get off. I just want the light. Are they all in blueprints? Yeah, everyone's in a blueprint. Okay. So I'll come and open this blueprint. And I'll copy the point light. And I'll just come and paste it on this lantern. I'm pretty sure they light up. I'm pretty sure I'm not making that up. Oh, it's not going to let me do that. It's not going to let me do it because that's an actor component. I just need a light. Have we got any lights at all? No, not a single one. Okay. Alright, I'll make a duplicate of this. And I'll call it lantern. And I'll open that up. Then I will grab this mesh and add it to myself there. And then I don't need the fire. And the point light, the point light can be rebound to the brazier thing. And that can be moved to there like that though. So, but because it's inside, it's lighting itself up. And we don't want that, we want it to surround everything else. So I believe we can come into here. If we search for light, I'm pretty sure we can tell it to ignore being lit itself. Is that it? I've just changed the lighting channel. So if I drag that out now, is that going to do what I think it's going to do? Yeah, but this is the entire thing I'm doing, is just learning how it does. Yeah, there we go. So it doesn't light itself up, but it lights everything around it. Yeah. So if now that I've got a select, if I delete that, select the lantern, right click, replace prop lantern. There we go. We've now got a light on it. It's a bit bright though, so I'm going to go and turn that down. Intensity, I don't know, 30,000. That's a bit better. And if I come and add that prop lantern, actually no, not that one, that one. If I add that into here, add the point light. Nope, no. The point light. Then open up the geisha at the same time. Well, realistically, if we get to the point light, is there an enable or something? Auto activate, maybe? Hidden in game? What about scale? If I scale it, does that change the light size? No. I was hoping that would. What about the radius? If I just gently increase the radius, that might work. So it's 500 at the moment. If I set it to 0, so it's off. And just make a keyframe here. And all I'm doing is making the keyframe so it's static. It's got a starting point, really. And then when she comes in, and as soon as she lifts it up and goes, tss, and it'll light up about... It'll start lighting up around there. I have no idea what she's lighting it up with, but it'll do. I'll add a keyframe there, and I'll set it to 500. No. So I won't set it to 500, because that's going to build it up over this time. We don't want it. We want it to build up from this point. So if I set that to 500 now, and add a keyframe there, in theory, she'll walk up to it, and as she lights it, she'll grow the light. Yeah, that works. It's a bit slow, but that does work exactly how I want it to, which is quite nice. Yeah. So Don't forget you're only going to be seeing this in passing. We're hyper-focusing on it at the moment. And someone's car alarm is going on. So if we do it about there... No, that's way too early. Just trying to find the best place of it. Because I guess light does travel pretty fast, isn't it? But it's never an on or off thing with a fire. Or is it? Is it just going to be better to just make it on or off? Let's have a look. Yeah, that kind of works. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then we've basically got that light. And then at the end of this sequence, I'll destroy it to keep it, well, basic, I guess. But it shouldn't matter too much. We'll see. But yes, there we go. So it's currently nearly 11 p.m. This first scene took me a lot longer than I thought it would. But now that I've got the whole root motion, camera system and everything set up, I think the others should be a lot quicker. Because this is quite a big scene as well. So a lot's changed since I last showed it off. Like, we've got a whole camera rail system now. We've got each AI, well, NPC doing their thing. I've even put him on a stool to make his animation work. We've got the smoker guy with his very fake cylinder cigarette thing. And it's all here and it works. I've added narrative dialogue into it just so I've got the subtitles and I don't have to deal with handling all that myself. It's just in. So I'll click play and I'll let you watch the first scene, and then I'll be moving on to the next scene shortly. So let's have a quick look what we've got now. And I fixed the spelling mistake on the first one. That's been there from the beginning. So I've balanced the audio a little bit as well, and we can hear the wind and the footsteps. And then we can see everybody's animated.
A samurai? Oh my, I've not seen one of you in years.
Yeah.
The Shogun must be angry. Yeah.
And there we go. And there is the first part. It does let you run around afterwards, but we're not really going to keep that bit. But yeah, so that's the first scene so far, and it is nice. There's something off about it I can't put my finger on. But I'm not going to dwell on it, I'm just going to crack on with it, because I want to get to the fight scenes. But yes, it's all lit up, it's all nicely here. So I'm going to start the second sequence, which is the one up here. This will just have a few people walking around, and then you'll have the people praying there to the shrine, and then it'll walk probably towards this stair. I don't know if we'll have the whole camera pan system. I might try a different angle and just put it up here and make the samurai walk down. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have a look when I get there on that one. And that'll be scene 2. Actually, no, sorry, that'll be scene 4, according to the steps that I've got on the document. This one's going to be a little bit busy, because there's a bigger area, but we've got most of the animations for that already. And then that'll head to this one here, I believe. Yeah, and then this will be the first bandit fight. And then this will be the boss fight, where we change the time and we look over the trees as both of them are stood there, hopefully. That's the plan. So this will be the last video for today on this one. I will show you tomorrow what I've got on with. Hello, so it's currently early, it's like 12 o'clock now, and I've pretty much, I think, mostly finished the first one and mostly finished the second one. I've been adding a little bit more to it just to really make it work, but I'm about to crack on with the third scene that I might just skip this one just for time, because I'm running out of time for now. Skip this one and just jump straight to the bandit fight, because that's the core of what I want in. At the moment it's like 2 minutes long. But the way I've joined the scenes together is at the end of the first sequence, so if I just open that one up, I've literally just added an event that will call the next one. So here is just an event, and all it does is just play the second one. That's really it. But we've pretty much got most of it set up, so he will walk down here, And I've exchanged the walking animation for a better one I found because it wasn't great. And I've added this little effect here just to show that, you know, the bandits have been here kind of thing. Nice little blood splatter effects and stuff like that, and that person in the water. So I'll just play the second version to show you where we are so far. So if I just connect it to the second one so we don't have to watch all the first one again. But you'll notice I've gone for a little bit different one with this one. Wait for it to play and play full screen. There we go. So you'll see he'll walk normally, the camera will change, and he'll pause, he'll take a look round, the camera will follow his eyesight, and you'll see the blood on the door as you see everything inside. The horrific scene, which is why the samurai's there in the first place. And then, he'll say something as he walks off. I've got some audio for that. We've got some people praying, which the Z-axis is off. I really do need to fix that. But then he will walk up into the stairs and it'll fade out and play the next one. The funny thing is I've used some clever camera angles to mask it. Because if I come up here, he walks down here, the camera cuts as soon as it exits, like this point. So as soon as he's past here, but he's still got all of this part to travel. So I kind of just teleport him where I need him to be. Which is typical film design, really, isn't it? Let me see if I can find an example. So here, look, you can see he's walking there. And then eventually, once he's bypassed the doors, I'll teleport him into the right place. Which you can't see, because if I switch to the camera mode, you can't see, because he's off screen. And it teleports him into the right place. And then it'll happen again down here. Boom, teleport him into the right place. And you don't see it, because it's just out of camera angle. And I'm just doing it in the sequencer here. Just moving him. Tick. Pretty much. The hardest part of this entire setup was this looking part here and designing that area. The walking I've got from this advanced warrior walking pack. But the strides are a lot better. So you don't have to, it doesn't look as glitchy. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to crack on now working on the bandit scene. And then I will hopefully have our first fight scene in the movie, which will be pretty cool. So it's a couple of hours later, and I've ran into something a bit funky whilst I'm designing the samurai walking up and doing the pulse check part. I don't know if it's to do with I'm pretty sure it's to do with the mocap, but it could also be an Unreal, but I'm leaning towards it is the mocap, so I had to fix it, learn how to fix it. So basically, we've got this animation here, where the guy walks up, checks the pulse, and walks away, just see if the guy's actually dead. But you'll see, as he walks up, he floats, which is not great, as you can imagine. So I'm trying to figure out what it is, and I've done the normal stuff, like tried disabling root motion, tried enabling root motion, changing which ref pose it is and all that other stuff, but I think it's not root motion because the root stays at the bottom the entire time. It's the pelvis seems to float. It's like it's staying at the exact same Z height instead of actually moving, and I'm not sure why. So what I've gone and done is manually gone through and found the frame where it needs to start moving, and I've added a key, and then I've moved across to where it needs to bend down, and then I've moved it down, move it down and stuff like that. And I've exported it out. Whilst it's not perfect, it does work. So you'll see now, same animation, but when he bends down, it's actually bending down this time. I'll select the root to show you. Yeah, look. So the pelvis is actually physically moving this time. So click back to the beginning. You'll see it actually has some Z-axis play now. I don't know why. It's why I'm leaning towards, I think it's the mocap. I think one of the ways it tries to justify itself or self-align itself is by keeping the pelvis level. I think for arm stuff, it's fine, wiggling your legs. Moving up and down, no, I think it glitches out. So I need to find a fix for that going forwards. For now, it's fine. But you can see if I come into the translation, and annoyingly, it's not actually the Z-axis. If I go to world position, it's actually the X-axis for some reason. But if I edit the curve, you'll see I've basically mapped this out, and this is the height. So you'll see it starts at 0, and then as it moves down, it'll bend down like so, and then it'll remain flat, and then it'll move back up like that. I wonder if I can like smooth it by... Oh, I probably... There are some specific constraints you can add, Louis. I don't know. I'm not the greatest animator, but it works for my scenario, I think. But now it means on my sequencer here, I can right-click this pulse check and come and change it to pulse check fixed instead. And then if I place that there, if I play it this time, you'll see he walks up. Yeah, it does. So something to do with root motion with the previous animation is glitching it out for some reason. And I'm going to need to try and figure that out. But it's little bits like this that I'm, you know, slowly learning about, which is going to be a good skill to have. Yeah. But yeah, it's little bits like that. But it's slowly coming along. After he's checked that, he's going to walk off. Then I'll have the bandits run and hi-ya, jump down. That I will have to animate myself a little bit, but that's fine. Then we'll have a guy walk from around this bell and maybe one over here. And then the samurai makes quick work of them. If you'd like to see how this movie was made, subscribe, because I've got like 19 videos to edit together into one semi-decent video showing a bunch of the development process. Unfortunately, to the last days, I kind of dropped off recording, which sucks. But you'll be able to see everything from me setting the mocap up, starting to record animations, planning out how I'm doing it in sequencer, and going with everything there. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a different video.